Personnel Law was looking at this and requested some additional time to provide advice and recommendations before we had this conversation, and we're still having this conversation.
That's why
so
I
would ask
me.
for additional time for legal counsel to provide advice, and the council can take that advice and do with it what it wishes.
So are you saying that if I was hired as the building inspector and was not doing the job, and it's an at-will employee, I could not just be terminated?
Well, at the point of at-will employment is you can be terminated, to answer your question.
Correct.
We have some of the same people making comments, and there's some of you have not made any. Is there anybody that hasn't talked that would like to make a comment?
I guess I worked in human resources for 29 years, and the bottom line comes in is that personnel records and actions dealing with employees, whether you're an elected on the city council or whether you're John Doe at the coffee shop, you don't see them. And I guess that's where the council members, we have hired a city manager, we've hired a city attorney, they're dealing with it. We can sit here all night and say we want to see the personnel records and we want to see what was done and said to the employee that had the problem. And we can talk till the cows come home, and it's not going to happen, period. Just because we're elected city council members does not allow us to see what is anyone else's personnel file, and that's the bottom line.
I don't think anybody's requested to see anybody's personnel file.
Well, we keep going on and on wanting to know what happened, and the only way you're going to know what happened is if Al reads the personnel file and what he did, and he's not going to do it. So how long are we going to keep asking the same question?
It's kind of like why we want, that's the reason we wanted the closed session.
You wouldn't get it in closed session.
There's only 12 reasons under the Iowa code you can go into closed session in a blanket request to discuss, how is it put, hold on a second here.
So in other
to discuss
words,
this assessment project, this assessment project or policy in general is not a reason to go into closed session.
So in other words, through technicalities, our hands are tied. Right where we're at. We can't, tomorrow when we're bombarded by people wanting to know what was resolved, what are we supposed to say?
It was
That
taken
it's-
care of.
It's been
It was
resolved
taken care of by
internally,
the
like,
person we hired.
Then the next question will be, how is it taken care
You're not going to know.
of? That's true, I don't know.
You're not going to find out, so you can ask 1,000 times, it's not going to find out.
And it's none of their business.
Yeah. If you're in your job and you,
Well, as a taxpayer, I wouldn't agree with that so much. You know, $112,000 of my taxpayer money, I think I should have to know a little bit about it. Now, if a guy wrecked a truck and it was his fault, that's something different. But just you make a $112,000 mistake, and when it's hard, cold cash, I think maybe a person does have the right to.
And again, there's a memo to the council being prepared at this moment by someone who specializes in labor and employment to address many of the questions you're asking about. And that is why I would like additional time for that memo to get out before this conversation continues. It's just like your prior city attorney didn't specialize in labor and employment. You had a separate firm you went to. Well, we have someone in our firm, but that person isn't sitting here today. So I would like that person to be able to advise you and hopefully answer some of these questions if you give them time to do that.
And I think we should give them opportunity to do that.
So we're all we have.
But Denny does bring up a good point. It is $112,000 of potential revenue for the city that we have lost out. And that's our job as city council, is protect those funds. So there is concern, and I feel it's valid.
Carl, do you have anything to add?
No,
Okay.
I just recommend you look at Steve's, in his document, where you can go into closed session and what reasons you can go in.
Email.
And he explained to you why this wasn't, but it's all in there how he put it, and you did a good job. I just recommend you all take a look at it. Thank you.
Okay, that was the last item that was on our agenda itself. We're going into reports. Were there any committee reports? I think the Public Works had a committee meeting today. Is there anything on that to report?
Public safety.
Public safety.
Public safety, sorry, what did I say?
Public work.
Works.
Public Works, okay. Public safety. Was there anything from that meeting this afternoon that you needed to report today?
We basically talked, we had a report from Chief Dallenbach. They've got a couple of interns, one college intern, one high school intern, riding with officers. Good experience, good way to get people involved. We talked about different things the police department and fire department are doing involved with the community, going out to tonight. Fire department was going out to one of the churches to talk with families and show them the equipment. We talked about some personnel things with the fire department on the possibility of maybe a third part-time driver, because the current 2 part-time drivers do have full-time jobs, but they're on an as-call, and Dick Newton and Doug were going to come back with a recommendation. We talked about some possibilities on equipment that we could use for EMT that would not involve using the large fire trucks, and whether the grasshopper fire rig or maybe a pickup type of a vehicle might work for that in the future. So I think that's about what we talked about. Dustin, anything? Al?
The only other item is the possibility of looking at a third substitute or part-time driver in the fire department. We have 3 full-time drivers currently and 2 substitutes who also have full-time employment outside of the fire department. We are looking at one of the full-time drivers potentially being the next chief, and the possibility of using a part-time driver to fill in some hours there moving forward and having the availability. They only work on an on-call or as-needed basis. The part-time positions are less expensive on an hourly rate than what our full-time drivers are, but it would be adding one position to our staffing needs there.
Okay. There wasn't any other committees. I think we already, anything else that wanted to discuss? Council members, anybody want to start that, to go around? Mike Hayward, would you like to start?
I don't necessarily have any city stuff, but I'd like to give a shout out to the school for their fall sports. The cross-country team's doing well. The volleyball team's rated, I think, 3rd in the state. Football team is near, if not ranked, in the top 10 in the state. Get out and support the teams. The marching band has won everything they've went to this year. They're doing a fantastic job of representing the community of Independence in a very positive manner, and I just want to give them a attaboy and attagirl for that. You know, it's good to see. It's been a long time coming, and it's good to see.
Yeah, they are doing great. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. John, you want to go next?
Nothing else, thank you.
Okay. Danny?
No, I think I said it all.
Okay, Deb?
All I'll say is I've had a lot of calls and contacts about the police station. And I guess I'll thank everybody for the calls and contacts and the info that they've provided.
Okay, Mike?
I too have had a lot of calls and regarding the police station and some other matters. And they continue to come in. I thought they would decrease or subside, and they have not. Also, I'd like to thank the chamber for again hosting the downtown trick or treat. I've had a lot of comments about parents really enjoying that. It's a safe atmosphere. The kids can be watched, they can have fun, and it's all in one enclosed area. So, thank you.
Carl?
I just want to say I have too had a lot of calls on the police department, the police building in the verbally and emails and things, and the citizens are very concerned. And so I just want to say thanks to the council that we're taking a little more time about looking at the situation as we are. And so, like I said, I want to thank you guys for doing this, because I'm a person that wants to back up my constituents, and I think we all do. And I know sometimes we need to do what's right for the city, of course, the big picture, but there's a lot of them out there talking, and they're listening, and so I just want to thank them too for being concerned citizens as they are. Thank you.
Bob?
Not really. I think we had a lot of discussion tonight, and I think we handled it well. I mean, I think it was stressful. We all are having citizens talking to us, and I think Al's handling it well. Got to be frustrating. He would like to shout out what this and that, but he's being following the letter of the law, and he's dealing with the situation, and that's all we can ask. So appreciate it, and sometimes there just is not the information that everybody would like to have put out in front.
Gina?
Next week, Wednesday through Friday, Amy and I will be at the Dorsey and Whitney training, and then that spills over into our IMFOA training that we have twice a year. So
Where's
we're
that at,
getting Des Moines.
You guys will be in and out like you have in the past?
We'll be there Wednesday all the way through Friday, so we'll leave Wednesday morning-ish and be back Friday afternoon-ish.
Okay. Al, do you have anything else?
Just that I'll be attending the DOT Regional Input Meeting in Decorah tomorrow morning. Among other things, the Highway 150 traffic study request of DOT, looking at Highway 150 from 380 north to, basically north to the Minnesota border, is being asked to be looked at for congestion, traffic flow. What do they do with that road as we move forward? That study would start theoretically in 2022, so it's a long-range lookout, but that's what the request is for the Highway 150 Coalition. We'll also be visiting with our desire and encouragement for the DOT to make sure they get in their maintenance plan, Highway 150 through Independence for reconstruction in 2022 and 2023. If anybody is interested in going, I'll be leaving here at roughly 7 o'clock, and we should be back by 1 or 1:30.
The mayor's probably going to want to go with you.
I was just going to say, so you all know I will not be going at 7 o'clock in the morning. Thank you all. I love it. I'm assuming you don't have anything, Steve?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I have some fun things I've been doing and some things coming up. I spent last week doing tours, the economic development. George lined up several tours of businesses because October is manufacturing month. And so I was able to go to Whelan's Lumber and Signs and More and Gators. I missed a couple of them, but he does this every year, has for 3 years, and when that does come up and you see that advertised in the paper, it's open to the public, so you can learn a lot more about the businesses in our community or in our county. So I suggest that when you see that, you take advantage of it, because I learned a lot from those 3 businesses and really enjoyed it. Also, yesterday attended the library's 10th anniversary. I know Bob was there. I'm not sure about the rest of you guys, but they did a lot of work decorating for their event and holding it, and they had a really good turnout. I think they really did a great job on that and celebrating it. So, and then next Monday, I have an opportunity to go to a VFW auxiliary lunch in the afternoon for the National Auxiliary President of the VFW Auxiliary will be in our city. She'll only be here for about an hour and a half or so and then moving on. And so I do have, Gina found me a key to the city that I'm going to be giving to her. So we'll have the national and state VFW auxiliary presidents here in our town, which has never happened before for the national ones. So I think that's an awesome opportunity also. So, I'm sorry?
Where's that at?
It'll be, she'll be touring around and they're going to see somebody, I think the oldest auxiliary member in this area or something is actually a resident out at the assisted living. So she'll be visiting her first, and I think there's other things, and then they'll have a luncheon at the VFW. Is where I'll meet them and give her the key to the city. So.
Did you figure out the card tricks yesterday?
My son told me one of them, how it happened and what he did. It made sense, but no, I did not figure out all the.
One guy, he
Yep.
was pretty good. His grandmother taught him all of the card tricks. They had magicians and card guys there. He had a pretty cool grandmother.
And naturally, they had me all I couldn't figure any of them out. But it was really a good celebration. The library should be applauded for the work that they did in getting ready for it and having it. And as far as I could, nobody went away unhappy. Everybody enjoyed it and had fun with it. So I think it was a good thing. So at that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, seconded by, come on, get to your mic. We have this whole sound system working. Let me hear you say second.
Let's go home.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you all.